Hello, welcome to my photo studio and to ProPhotoLife.com. Today, thanks to an idea from Rick at the Ohio Valley Camera Club, we have a very fun subject to photograph. Yes, for you auto enthusiasts, that's a cherry red 57 Chevy, restored and modified. For those of you not into cars, I'm sure you can at least appreciate the craftsmanship and the detail that went into a vehicle like this. This car is beautiful, but it presents some challenges in photographing the shiny paint and chrome surface. Now, the car's on loan for a limited amount of time, so we're just going to do the best we can and have some fun, try some experimental things in the time that we do have. Right now I'm waiting on the camera club members to get here. Once they're here, we're just going to try some different things. We have a few ideas in mind. It's kind of difficult to get an overall shot of the car in this particular studio simply because actual automotive photography studios have very long, 20-foot long soft boxes. They have strip lights all around and a large sweep that the car can actually be driven up onto. Now, we have our large white vinyl flooring sweep that you've seen in previous videos, but that's not quite enough for a 57 Chevy. With the camera club members here, we tried some different things. We set up our lighting and we came up with a shot that I really like. Rather than trying to film this whole process as it evolved, I'm going to recreate it for you now and show you the series of steps. I really love the front end, the grille of this car, and I want to capture that from down low, looking up, so that it really has a feeling of power. I like that a lot about this automobile. So we're starting out with the camera down low. I'm using my Canon 5D. It's a full-frame camera, and we have a 17 to 40 millimeter L zoom lens on the camera, and the lens is about 40 millimeters, so it's slightly wide. Let's take a look. I'm just going to use the ambient light, just the existing light in the studio. I often start out that way just to get a photograph to judge composition by. And we're shooting tethered to the computer. Here's the first image. I really like it. That looks good for a first image. Obviously, we have a lot of background clutter that we need to get rid of. The first order of business is definitely to create a black background. Now, we don't have just one long, smooth, even black background, so I'm using a combination of a large velvet cloth that we have and also foam core sheets, 4x8 foam core sheets on either side of the car. With the background taken care of, it's time to start putting some light on the subject. And we're going to start with just a softbox, a large softbox on a boom, parked directly over the front top of the car. That's going to give us some light on the grille, and I do want to try and contain the light to the front area of the car because I don't want to light up those foam core panels in the back. I want to keep those as dark as possible. This shot's more about mystery. It's open to personal artistic interpretation rather than a straight product shot. So let's get that softbox in place. Now, another thing that I'm well aware of is that the floor, this garage-type floor, is going to reflect into the bumper. So right off the bat, I want to go ahead and get some white foam core on the ground just to reflect into the bumper to create nice, clean, white lines. And yes, the cards are in very close to the car. Oftentimes readers will say, you know, I see that card in your working photographs. Well, we just have to put it in that close to get the effect that we want. If it's going to reflect, it just has to be close to the subject. So that's why it's so close. Now, let's take a look at what we get with this effect. Well, we definitely have drama and mood. The car is isolated against the background now. And I do love the angle of the car. One thing we need to work on, though, when you're shooting against a black background, you want to make sure that your edges are defined. So we need to define those edges. We're going to have to put an edge light on either side of the car. And we're going to do that using large screens and the stick-in-it cans. Now, with those panels evenly off to each side, I'm going to use a Calumet Genesis strobe, shooting into the back of them, just to light up those very edges of the car. Okay, there we go. We're ready for our next exposure. I really like that. I think we've really defined the edges of the car well, and it's really popping off. The next thing I want to tackle is this chrome trim around the headlights. I want to get a couple of cards on either side just to reflect into that to bring out that chrome trim. Now that's a small detail, but every little bit helps, and it should make a difference. Let's shoot this photograph and take a look at a close-up of the headlight shell to just see what I'm talking about. There we go. Now both of those headlight shells are really brought to life. I think they look good, and wow, I think we have a great looking photograph there. I'm really happy with it. I'm not 100% sure about the highlight on the hood, but there has to be a highlight somewhere or it's going to look flat. The big important thing to me is that the highlight that we've created does not interfere with the Chevy emblem. So I'm okay with that. We have a highlight below the Chevy emblem and one above it. So I can definitely live with that. I think there's one or two other things we ought to do. Let's put a light inside the car and just get a little bit more light to that interior. I don't want to make it glow. I just want to bring out a little bit more detail. For this, we're going to use a flash unit I really like. It's a little Sunpack 120J, and we have the reflector taken off of it, the dish reflector, so that it's just a bare bulb head. And we're using quantum battery pack. I'm going to hook one of our quantum radio slaves up to it, and we'll put it in the back seat of the car. Now with that in the back seat, let's take another exposure. That adds just a little bit, just enough to bring that to life and to separate it just a little bit better. I think the last thing I want to do is to turn the lights on the car. Now the headlights and the turn signals don't come on at the same time, so we're going to do that in two separate exposures. Here we are with the headlights on. That looks cool, and we'll also get it with the running lights on. There we go. Now we have the little orange running lights on. So we have all of our exposures there. I think the next to last exposure, the one with the headlights on, is the one that I want to use for the overall exposure. I'll paint in these little orange running lights, and then we'll just clean up around the car. So let's take a look at that. Okay, the quick recap of what we've done. We took a first photograph with just an ambient exposure, the existing light here in the room, just to get our angle. We found that we liked that. So we covered up the background with the black foam core, and we also added an overhead light and some white foam core to the ground just to clean up the reflection on the grille. Once we had that, we decided we needed to define the edges of the car better, so we added a couple of screens, acetate screens on either side of the car with the Genesis strobes shooting into them, and that lit up the perimeter. Now we have good separation all around the car. Then we added a couple of reflectors in the front to bring out the shell around the headlight, the chrome on that. And then we put a light inside the car just to give a little bit more life to the interior. And the very last thing that we did was we photographed it with the headlights on, and then I stripped in the running lights, and the very last move was just to crop it down and to clean up the exterior, and that is our very final photograph. So there was a little bit done in Photoshop there in the end, but really when you think about it, we only used 4 lights on this photo. And that's our take on the 57 Chevy. I hope you enjoyed the image. We had to make some decisions about where highlights might fall. But if you watch the earlier videos, the videos on reflections and photographing metal, you see that everything we've done in a small tabletop setting to date translates directly to this car. It wasn't necessary to explain a lot of these little moves in detail if you've seen the earlier videos. So if you'd like to see the actual photographs from this shoot, come to ProPhotoLife.com, view video episode 22, and you'll find a gallery link to show you the progression of images. Thanks always for watching. I hope you enjoy the videos as much as I enjoy making them, and I'll see you next time on ProPhotoLife.com.